Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Welcome to Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers Toastmasters Club. Let's begin. For you guys, please unmute your microphone during the meeting. And for role takers, please identify your role in front of your name. I'm going to handle the meeting to someone with a warm and welcoming personality. Yeah, she is our president, Miss Ayu.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Melva. Yay, Monday again. So let's just get started. Our Toastmaster of the day is a seasoned Toastmaster. And please help me welcome Mary.
Ayu and Melva, thank you for starting off our meeting so well. I do see a Barafa. Is that a guest? I just say hello.
Yes, I'm guest joining from Dubai. Thank you.
What? Glad to have you here.
I had attended your earlier meeting too.
Oh, good. So this okay. Well, we're glad you're here and you're in for a very exciting meeting. Our meeting today, the theme is I love the theater. And as I was reminded that words mean different things in different cultures. So when I said the word theater, I immediately thought of live theater, plays, musicals. But there's also movie theater, which is going to the theater could mean going to watch movies. So I said it's wide open, however you want to interpret it. Your favorite movies, your favorite theater. But the reason I chose this theme is because theater is back in the United States after a long hiatus because of the pandemic. I'm a real theater goer and I love it. So I'm going to a dinner theater on Wednesday to see the musical Godspell. I don't know if any of you have ever heard it. It's an old musical from back in the 70s, I think maybe in the 60s. I don't know, but it's a really fun musical and it's got some great messages. So that's my theme for today, theater. And I'll next to turn it over to our grammarian to tell us our word that will be accompanying our theme for today. I'd like you to please welcome our grammarian, Amy Sullivan. Over to you, Amy. Hartsham, I'm sorry. Why do I call you Amy Sullivan? Amy Hartsham.
Thank you very much, Mary. I am the grammarian today, and I will be looking out for any grammatical errors in everyone's speech. And I also have the word of the day, which I will share with you. Am I sharing the right page? Okay, great. Theatrical. And as we are having a theatrical experience today, we're all performers in the play today. So we're all part of it. So everything that's going to happen will be a theatrical experience. And I encourage each of us to bring it in wherever we can. We can see here, there's an example of a theatrical way of speaking or theatrical gesturing. And see how much fun you can have with it. I also encourage a bit of it's not part of the grammarian role, but I encourage a bit of play and moving. Let's all have fun at the theater today. Let's bring the theater alive. I'll report back in at the end of the meeting. Thank you. Back to you, Mary.
All right, thank you, Amy. And next, I'd like to hear from our counter to explain their role. So counter, Ayu, could you please tell us your role today as the counter?
I will be listening to all the speaker and try to find the usage of filler words while they are delivering their speech. Also for the role taker. And I will report at the end of the meeting. Thank you, Mary.
Wonderful, thank you, Ayu. Next will be our timer. Our timer is Rugaya. I think I said that right. Rugaya, could you give us your timing?
Thank you, Ms. TMOD. So for today's meeting, I'll be the timer and therefore I'll keep the track of everybody's timings. I have 3 cards with me, green, yellow, and brown. For speakers, I'll show green card at 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, and brown at 7 minutes. And respectively for table topics, green at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute and 30 seconds, and brown at 2 minutes. For evaluators, I'll show green at 2, yellow at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and brown at 3. And after I show the brown card, the speaker or the evaluator has to conclude their speaking within 30 seconds. Thank you, and back to you.
Hey, thank you, Rugaya. And our general evaluator, could you give your role duties today as the general evaluator? Toastmaster Melva, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Mary. So my role as GA is to give command during the meeting. It means hold the meeting, I will give command. And that's it. Back to you, Mary.
Okay, thank you, Melva. And you'll also be giving the reports, leading and giving the reports for each of the roles in your evaluation team. We have, in addition to the roles that we just suggested as part of the evaluation team, we have 2 or 3 evaluators to evaluate, give feedback on our 3 speakers today. Our 3 evaluators are Michelle, Ishel, and Yasmin. Our first speaker is Samantha Bond Williams. She is in Pathways of Visionary Communication, working on level 1, which is the first part of the path of visionary communication. And she's doing evaluation and feedback number 1. Her evaluator is Michelle Ovalim. Michelle, could you read her objectives? And if you happen to have her speech title, could you share that? Over to you, Michelle.
Okay, my mouse was not that close, and sorry, I was in the middle of something else. So let me just open up. Okay. So, sorry, evaluation and feedback, and this is that project wherein the speaker will do 2 speeches, the first one, and then get feedback, and then give another speech using the feedback to improve the speech. And I'm sorry, I don't have, let me see if I have the title. It's Ducks. The title is Ducks. Back to you, Madame Toastmaster.
Wonderful. Thank you, Michelle. Very excited to hear our speaker giving her first official speech. She's done an icebreaker, but this is the one that is starting to really get into the meat of Toastmasters, giving a speech and getting feedback. So Samantha Williams will be giving her speech titled Ducks. Ducks, please help me welcome Samantha Williams. The floor is yours, Samantha.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. What types of animals do you see every day? What personalities do those animals have? Or what do you know about them? Today, I'm going to tell you about ducks, little creatures that swim, that run around, have colorful feathers. Maybe you've seen them flying overhead, or you've even had one as a pet. They have a personality that is fun and calm, and they can even be trained. They're very popular in stories, in children's stories especially, such as The Ugly Duckling or The Story of Ping. But what to know about ducks? What do they act like? Why are they popular? Today, I'm going to try to answer some of those questions. First, I'll start with saying what ducks do in the wild, because they are wild animals at heart. They migrate, and fly great distances, sometimes over 875 miles, which is 1,400 kilometers. This can take them between 18 to 48 days in North America, so over a month. There are many different types, and they live on every continent. There are river ducks, live in the river, catch fish, and there are diving and sea ducks that live on the ocean and collect shellfish and fish. They also exist on farms. Of course, they're good for the environment. They like to eat the bugs off of plants. Instead of using pesticides, you can just have a duck that will eat all the bugs off of your plants. I know because I had ducks and they ate all of the bugs off the plants. You didn't ever have to use pesticides. And of course, they lay eggs, giving you free food if you eat eggs. As a pet, they're very easy to have. They're resilient to illnesses. They have great temperaments and they're low maintenance, yet they do eat a lot. And they mainly eat bugs, grass, fish, and sometimes even fruit. When I was a girl, I had 2 ducks. They ate lots of different things, but especially bread. It's not what they were supposed to eat. They're supposed to eat something called duckweed, which grows in rivers. I got mine from a farm because I grew up in the country, and I found them after looking through an animal catalog for farm animals, and saw that there were all these different types of breeds of ducks. And so me and my family went to a farm, and I picked up 2 ducks, and they were Mickey and Susie. They like to run around in the rain, eat worms, and swim in rivers. They'd even come when they're called, which I thought was strange for birds. The ducks are rather popular in culture. They're characters in stories that have particular types of personalities, and they're found in many stories, but especially children's stories and in folklore. And often the characters are young, adventurous, or naive, that travel and have an adventure before coming home, just like ducks in reality, who migrate and then return. This is found in stories such as The Ugly Duckling, about a duck that leaves home believing himself to be too ugly to be seen, before finally discovering the truth and returning. Or The Story of Ping, about a duck that was scared to come home, left, went on an adventure, and then one day returned. Ducks are still very popular today, from toys such as the rubber ducky, and even mascots, which colleges have, including my own college, which is, of all things, a duck in a sailor suit. Now, why are they popular? They're cute, they have a story, they're beneficial to the environment, and they're unique animals. Maybe you would like to have one. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Excellent, Samantha. Well done. And there actually is a musical called Ping. That is the story of the ugly duckling that got lost. Yeah, so that's right in, ties very well in with our theater theme. So excellent. And I think all of us can relate to the cute little ducks when you see them in the local ponds, or you think of them with little kids. I think of a little rubber duck playing with them in the water. So fun. It was a nice little bit of nostalgia and an interesting speech. Thank you again, Samantha. Now for our second speaker, Kunang, our evaluator is Ishtel. Sorry, I apologize that I'm messing up your name. Ishtel. Could you tell us the objectives for Kunang's speech today and the title if you have it?
Hello. Yes. Toastmaster of the day, of course. For Kunan, she's on the level 2 with the pathway team collaboration, and the title of her project is My Mentor. Go back with you, Mary.
Okay, thank you, Ishel. And I'm sure Kunang will give us a very theatrical performance on her speech today. So over to you, and the title is My Mentor with Kunang Kam. Kunang Kam, My Mentor. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters today. Hello, Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. I'm Conan from Cambodia. My speech title, as Ishel and Marie introducing, is My Mentors. Who are my mentors? Yes. In fact, in my life, I have several mentors. The first mentor is my parents, especially my dad. I have a strong connection with my dad. When I was a kid, my dad told me that was born in a warm family is peacefulness. But it's not enough. You need to have good education. So they was send me to school. And I love education. I like books, I like reading, and I also like playing. During free time, I like reading books for my mom. She like listening to me. And sometimes I'm helping her stuff. One thing that I remember well from my dad is that he told me, be a good woman, you need to have a good conduct. And you need to have knowledge. Especially, you need to have kindness. Kindness is a nice dress for everybody, and respectfulness is also the nice dress for every people of all nations. And hardworking. Yeah. My dad, he is a good dad because I remember he's hardworking and sometimes it's gonna make me cry. But but my dad, he keep inspiring his kid. Don't give up on life. Sometimes life makes us difficult, but it is simple. So you need to keep move on. Every situation is a blissfulness. My parents, it has 6 children. They are farmers. Farmers in developing countries is not easy, but it's not. Yes, it's not easy, but we can survive. I'm sorry. That I love my dad the most because he is very hardworking. He inspired all his children go to school, so all my siblings get a good education because we have a nice parents. And the other mentor is that Mr. Chris. He is a guy from the USA. He opened a school in the province. Yes, I met him unexpectedly while I was playing in front of my aunt's house, and then I met him. I asked him, I speak English a little, but I like to talk to him. He also liked to talk to me. And then He told me that he going to open a school, and then I applied and I got a job there. What made me remember about his kindness is that he is the man that inspiring me about about IT. He is the man that create Facebook for me and create Gmail account for me. And I know a lot of things from internet, yes, Google and YouTube. I told him that I am very interesting about famous people like Nancy Reagan, Queen Rania, and the other many nice lady and men that bring the greatness to the world. I want to be the person in among them too. And the other special mentor today is that everybody can guess. I will tell you at the end of my speech. My mentoring today, she is very kindness to me and open to me. When we are talking face to face, I'm feeling more comfortable in myself and feeling more about myself. I am be myself. What I love her the most is that unjudgment. I think unjudgment is the power to inspiring somebody else. It's the power to be a mentor because it makes that person feeling themselves and talking what in their mind. For example, me and my mentor, I talk what in my mind, and then I found the key to improving myself, and I found the key that can make myself be confident in front of the people. Non-judgment is the best key to be confident in ourselves. Before I know that I feeling not so comfortable in public speaking because I'm shy. When people looking at me and watching me at my face, I'm shy. I don't want people watching at me. But now I am better than before, especially when I'm talking with my mentor. It makes me feel more confident just talking to her. I found the key behind our talk. Yes. The benefit of mentoring is that make me a better person, make me feel more confident, and make me be more openness. Yes, at least my mentoring today is Amy. Thank you, Amy, for being my mentoring. Thank you.
Excellent speech. A key point of theater is to inspire, to get emotions out in people. And that speech today certainly did that, Kunang. You inspired us. You were theatrical in the way you used your voice, your hand gestures, and what you said. Well done. Excellent job. I think you have a future in the theater, Kunang. And now our third speaker is Tiger Makandi, and Tiger's evaluator is Yasmin. Yasmin, could you tell us what Tiger's objectives are today and the title of his speech? Over to you, Yasmin.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Mary. So today Tiger is going to give us a humorous speech because the purpose of the project he is taking is to begin developing a collection of humorous stories and to present a speech that include humors. So we must and should expect a very humorous speech coming with the title Work, Learn and Laugh. Back to you, Mary.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sure Tiger will not disappoint. He is a masterful storyteller and has a way of always incorporating humor that teaches us a lesson, but allows us to be entertained while we're learning. He sneaks little nuggets of wisdom in there. So I talked too long and now I forgot the title of this speech. Can Yasmin, could you repeat that for me? Or Tiger, could you repeat what the speech title was?
Yeah.
What was his speech title?
Work, Learn, and Laugh. Tiger McKenzie.
Got it. Thank you. Work, Learn, and Laugh by Tiger McKendry. Tiger McKendry. Work, Learn, and Laugh. Over to you, Tiger. The floor is yours.
How many of you remember your first job? According to George Carlin, my favorite comedian, everyone remembers two things: your first job and your first love. My first job was not my first love. My first job was 50 years ago. Yes, you heard me right, 5 decades ago. I was a busboy at a very affluent senior center in downtown Portland. I actually really like this job because I got to hang out and talk with old people, and old people have great stories. Unfortunately, the waitress was not impressed by my leisure attitude. Quit talking to my customers! You're gonna ruin my tips! One Friday afternoon, after work, or excuse me, after school, I'm getting ready to go to work. My buddies are off to play baseball. I gotta go to work. I formulated a plan. I got home. Yeah, what do you want? Well, I can't come to work today. Are you sick? No, ma'am. I just feel too darn good to come to work today. Click. Boy, that felt good. For about a minute. For that little act, I lost my driving privileges for an entire summer. Lesson learned. Quitting always has bad consequences. Several years later, when I was a college student, I got a summer job working in a cannery. Fantastic job. I got to put lids into a receptacle to put on cans as they went into the pressure cooker. So my job basically was to stand there and do this. For 10 hours a day. One afternoon, after a particularly long night, a guy tackles me, shoves a big red button above my head, because going up the conveyor belt were dozens of large cans with no lid heading to a pressure cooker, which means I was about to blow the place up. Lesson learned. Pay attention when you're at work. When I was in college, I got my favorite job. Now here's a great irony in life, and you gotta laugh. I am afraid to death of heights. You get me 2 feet up a ladder, I start freaking out. My job, are you ready for this? Was to climb trees like this that are 70 to 80 meters tall. I specifically remember him asking me on the phone, this job requires climbing. Are you afraid of heights? Oh, no, sir. I'm desperate. I didn't tell him that. So as we're going to the first tree to climb, my partner is telling me, when you get up there after you do your job, belt in and just hang out. The view's great. You'll love it. I get to the first tree. Now, you guys know power poles. They have the little poles in the side. Fortunately, this tree had power poles, so all I had to do was walk up the power pole. My buddy looks at me and goes, tiger, just don't look down. Once you get up into the tree, you can't see down. As I got very close up to the top of where the branches are, about 70 meters off the ground, I knocked my hat off. And yes, Mary, you know exactly what I did next. I looked down. My entire body went into convulsions. I was holding on so tight that my knuckles got white. And I was freaking out. And just as I was totally convinced that I was going to die, it stopped. I went into complete state of euphoria. I was as relaxed and as peaceful as I had ever been. I scrambled up the tree. I did my job. I did exactly what he told me to do. I belted in. The wind started to blow, and here I was, 100 meters off the ground, looking at the mountains, swinging back and forth, having the time of my life, yelling at the top of my lungs, Yahoo! I love that job. I climbed over 100 trees that summer, and it was the best job I ever had. Lesson learned. Face your fear, even when you don't want to. Well, I became an adult. I got a real job as a hearing specialist. I'm deaf. Some of you may have recognized that, maybe not. And I love dealing with hard-hearing people. Hard-hearing people are stubborn, pig-headed, and in denial. I totally relate to them. One afternoon, I get a call from Nancy. Jim will not wear his hearing aids. He's driving me crazy. It was a beautiful afternoon. So I told my receptionist, cancel all my appointments this afternoon. I'm going out to see Jim and Nancy. They lived at the base of a mountain. I had alternative motives here. Nice drive in the country. So as I'm driving, I'm formulating an idea, and I came up with a theatrical solution. Nancy answers the door. I go, hi, Nancy. Oh, thank you so much. He's just making me crazy. Where are his hearing aids? They're in the dining room table or dining room drawer by the table. Take me to his hearing aids. I walked right by Jim. He's in his favorite chair in the living room watching TV. I didn't even say a word to him. I just walked right in front of him. Almost intentionally hit his foot, so he knew I was there. I walked into the dining room, and I reached in the drawer and I took out his hearing aid box. I very carefully removed one of his hearing aids. I said, hey, Jim, how you doing? You hear this voice from the living room. Don, are you talking to me? I go, no, I'm talking to your ears because talking to you is a waste of time. Oh, he walked in and you know what he did? He put in his hearing aids. About a month later, Nancy comes into my office with this big, hot apple pie. Thank you so much. You saved my marriage. Lesson learned. Never, and I mean never, lose your sense of humor. So what did I learn from all these work experiences? Quitting has bad consequences. When you're at work, you gotta pay attention. Face your fears, even when you don't want to, and the most important thing in life, never lose your sense of humor. Back to you, Miss Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Again, you certainly didn't disappoint. You gave us a rousing, inspiring, and humorous theatrical performance. Well done. all of you participating today. You were really treated to 3 wonderful speakers. But that concludes the prepared speech portion of our meeting. Now it's time to practice our off-the-cuff speaking. And for that, we have an exquisite topic master for today, Christina McGuire. Christina, could you tell us what your job as a table topics master is today and call upon some of our members? And Varatha, as our guest, you are welcome to participate in table topics. Would you like to maybe give that a try?
Yes, please.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Christina, you could put that on your list. And Frederico doesn't have a role today, so I'm certain he will be available for a table topic. With that, I'll turn it over to our table topics master today, Christina McGuire. The floor is yours.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fellow Toastmasters. It's my pleasure to be your table topics master today. And this is the time of the meeting where we get to have a little bit of fun with practicing our impromptu speaking. And along the way, we get to know each other a little bit better. I'm going to choose a topic and ask the speaker to talk for between 1 and 2.5 minutes, as Rakaya explained really beautifully. So the green light's going to come on at 1 minute, the amber light at 1.5 minutes, and the red light's going to come on at 2 minutes. So I'm conscious that the theme for the meeting, I love the theatre, is that we're all living in very different places in the world. And I'm very blessed to live in the country of Shakespeare, where we've got loads of opportunities to go to the theatre, but not everybody may have that. So what I'd like to do is to extend the theme to include any type of live performance or movie performance. Now, sometimes we might have performances in the park. Sometimes we might have a little amateur dramatic performance, but it's how it touches our heart and how it makes us feel that's what's the really important bit. And if anybody's struggling to talk about anything, you can always talk about your favourite movie. So I'd really love to hear about what it is in our members that inspires you. And I'm going to use the technique of pose, pause, and pounce. So that means I'm going to pose the topic, I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to pounce on one of you lovely unsuspecting people with my topic. So first off, I'm going to select somebody who we know has travelled a lot. And what I'd like to ask is for them to explain to us what it is, where you were, where you saw some theatrical performance that really inspired you, and to describe what it was that lifted your spirits. And for that topic, I'd like to choose Frederico.
I am a small dog, and when I was a kid, I liked to travel a lot. Yes, theaters are always interesting. But the first experience was when I decided to go to Poland. Yeah. In Poland, they like strange theaters. You will not expect to see a dog and a shark. Yeah, because in Poland, they like strange things. The first time that I was in the theater, they started to use a lot of puppets. It's not a coincidence that I'm playing with them. No, it's not a coincidence. In Poland, they enjoy using a lot of puppets. They do not use a lot of people, but they guess us huge puppets. Indeed, I saw a woman that looked like a bigger woman because she decided to become a puppet. Yeah, that was a very strange story, because you will expect that a woman is already tall in Poland, like 180, and she became 3 meters tall. Yeah, 3 meters tall. That wasn't something very uncommon. And after that, during the event, the women were transforming into another animals, and most importantly, different kind of women. They wanted to impress everyone. Yes, because they wanted to become kind of Strange spirits. That's part of the Polish culture. That makes not much sense if you have never lived there. Even for me, the first time was very confusing because I was not Polish enough to understand that they have spirits of women that transform into bigger women that are very strange. But the most strange thing is that part that they like to become puppets. I don't know exactly why they like to become puppets instead of just being themselves. But that's what you can enjoy in Poland if one day you decide to go to the theater, because they are full of puppets and you can become a giant woman or man. Back to you, Christina.
Thank you, Federico. That was very creative, and it sounds kind of scary to have these really big women. What can I say? So next up, I would like to ask the question that I'm really quite intrigued about, which is to know what theatrical options there are in different parts of the world. And next up, I'd like to choose Dubai. So Virata, please can you tell us what theatrical options there are in Dubai and what's inspired you most? Over to you.
Greetings to you all. Theatrical options everywhere, they're different, or maybe there are some similarities. The puppet show, that's also with wooden, the camel, the Bedouins, an amazing experience. Theatrical, whether it's in the traditional way or in a more, should I say, formal way, it's same. How they impart their message to you, be it to arise, to have the sense of humor, or to pass a knowledge, to pass the wisdom. It's always there. So they have the puppets, that it's like, camel is moving, the Bedouins are coming, and they don't have so much of wisdom, and the way they narrate was simply amazing. At the same time, we do have normal theatrical performance. My daughter, being a ballet dancer, she like in a normal theatrical performance, and they do have a small ballet for children. So then she participates and she says, I enjoy this one. This is my best part. She is enjoying being a part. We enjoying the theatrical performance added of the other theaters, of the actors as well as but daughter's performance. Be it the Bedouin type of the culture, the theatrical performance using the puppets, or the wooden puppet, or this the normal one is in the stage at the Opera House in Dubai. It's same. Anyway, did you enjoy? You just have the blink in your eyes. That's enough, I suppose. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Virata. Theatres are amazing wherever they are. And I noticed that several people have got their cameras off at the moment. Do we have some camera shy people? Are they available to do a topic? But in the meantime, I'm going to focus on who we do have on the screen. And I would love to know a little bit more about the Bollywood culture. And on that note, I'd like to invite Rakaya to tell us a bit more about this culture that looks so glamorous, so musical, such fun, so theatrical. Please come tell us more. Rakaya.
Can you please repeat your question?
I would love to know, please, more about the Bollywood culture. It looks so glamorous, so musical, so theatrical. Tell us more about it and what has inspired you about this fun side of your movies or theatre or whatever it's all about.
Okay. So in Bollywood, we have very vibrant type of environment. And whenever we are feeling very low, or there's some sort of depression, because depression comes every time we have to face many situations in life. So Bollywood is that one way where by which we can always reduce the depression or the anxiety we are feeling. It is so vibrant and so colorful, and every time we hear some of the songs or we see some good movies, it is also very inspiring. Some movies are really inspiring. Some are about the education system, some are about the children and parents relationship, and it is all sometimes it gives you a sort of relaxing feeling. Sometimes it gives you some lessons also. So whenever we are feeling very a sort of anxiety or depression, it is a very good medium to decrease the level of that anxiety. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Rakaya. Mary, how are we doing for time? Do we have time for one more?
Yes, we do. And as I mentioned, Gabby hasn't had a role today. You'd like to?
Yes, I had my eye on Gabby, but she's got her camera off. Gabby, are you available? Thank you. I'm going to pick a topic for you because we all want to learn about the different cultures, and that's one of the absolute beauties of this club. Would you now tell us a little bit about Mexican theatre and something that's really inspired you and that you'd love to share with us? Please welcome Gabby.
Hi, everybody. Yes, Mexico is variant, typical food or places, beautiful places. For example, beautiful places, beaches. In Oaxaca, there are a much beaches like a Cicatela, like Puerto Escondido, Huatulco, and the water is blue the ocean. I like so much Oaxaca. And for example, other typical culture is the dancer, when the people dance in the culture in Mexico, like a Mayan culture or other, I don't know what do you say, but this is a example. Other example, the typical food, for example, in the north of the country, the people eat more meat. For example, in Puebla City, we eat mole poblano, or in September, the people make chiles en nogada. This is a variant of the typical things about Mexico City. Yeah.
Thank you, Gabby. How lovely to hear about the food. I'm imagining a picnic by the theatre and by the beach. Anyone talking about the azure blue seas, I am so jealous because it's not even sunny today here and it's cold. So I'm very jealous. Thank you, Gabby. And on that note, I'm going to hand back to our Toastmaster of the day, to Mary.
Thank you, Christina. Wonderful table topics. And thank you to all of you that replied and gave us excellent responses to those table topics questions. Great job. And you did a wonderful job of weaving the theater theme throughout our table topics. Great job, everyone. Now I'd like to go into the final portion of our meeting, which is the evaluation and feedback. It's an opportunity for all of us to learn from our opportunities of speaking and to grow. And we have a general evaluator that leads her team of evaluators and other portions of the meeting to help us to grow. For that, our general evaluator, Melva Putri. Melva, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Mary. As a Madam Toastmaster, and at this time, we will move into the better listening part of our meeting. And we have 3 evaluators for today's meeting. So our first evaluator is Michelle Albalim, who will be evaluating Samantha's speech. Michelle, the screen is yours.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator, and thank you, Samantha, for such an engaging and entertaining speech. Ducks, who would have thought? Your speech was so highly informative. I learned about how far ducks could travel, the different types of ducks, and so much more. And I also enjoyed the fact that you had this, I cannot describe you had such an amazingly radiant smile throughout your speech. I could see how much you loved your ducks, Mickey, and who was the other one. But anyway, you were enjoying yourself. And because you were enjoying yourself, I, as a listener, was enjoying myself as well. And I think I could say the same for most others. Those who had their videos on, they were smiling and nodding as you were talking about your ducks. I also admire that you stood up. You made an effort. Like right now I'm sitting down, sorry, but you made an effort to stand up. And that's always a very, it brings us in when the speaker is standing up. Now, this is a speech wherein you will be getting some feedback and trying to improve on the next speech. So I need to give you some suggestions, and one is your use of notes. It was very obvious when you would be reading your notes. So I have a suggestion, and this works really well with the online environment. Right now, you don't see that I'm looking at anything, any notes. Well, guess what? In front of my screen, I actually had this tool. I had a notebook right there, very close to the camera, and this other sheet on the other side, but you couldn't see it because as long as you don't cover the camera hole, you're good. So you can be looking straight or seemingly straight at the camera, and your notes are really very close there. That's one way. That's one suggestion that I would like to see in your next speech. And second, when you stand up, also elevate your computer. You can have a stack of books, you can have a couple of shoe boxes, a little stool, whatever you have handy, just raise your laptop so that you're at eye contact. Because what happens is when you're standing up, looking down, then it looks like you're looking down at the audience. So those 2 suggestions to improve your delivery, but don't change the topic, don't change the beautiful smile, and go on and stand up whenever you deliver a talk, because that really makes it more powerful. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thanks, Michelle, for giving evaluation. And next, our second evaluator is Ishel. And Ishel, who will be evaluating Kunang's speech. Ishel, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Melva. Thank you. Well, Kunang, your speech was so theatrical, so inspired with heart, very good. You controlled yourself, all your feeling when you was talking, when you touch sensitive information about you. You made a great job. Was an excellent speech. Everybody, most of the Toastmaster was looking you, and when you get a little struck with the feeling, oh, also most of the people was taking attention. You took our attention, really. You made so great. Your message was wonderful. I like it. I'm pretty sure that most of us enjoyed your speech. One, one suggestion, maybe you can try in the same day, at the same time to move in other place where you can look you with more light, that we can see you better. Yes, because you looks a little dark, and you have a beautiful smile, you have a great gesture, so we can look you a little better. So try to in another places to see how you look, and also ask for your friend, for your family, to test that at the same time, because the light change. In my case, I am in a new place, so it's taking the sun right now, and the time is going, so the sun is moving. So also try to do that in the same time in another day. How is your better place where you can look with a little light more? and also, I think that it's the only suggestion, and it was so nice. And I think that also you have, you are right that our first mentor are our family. Another point, there is a little formula that say the attitude makes the 80%, and the night, and maybe the 20% is the knowledge. That is the way that you can be great and have successful, and you have the 80% attitude, so you can go very well for each step that you take. That's all for now. Go with you, Mary.
Okay, thanks, Excel, for giving evaluation. And next, our third evaluator is Yasmin, who will be evaluating Tiger speech. Yasmin, the screen is yours.
Thank you, ma'am, General Evaluator. Asking you all, listening to Tiger's speech, what did you all hear? Well, stories, many stories, 4 of them to be very precise. Let me ask you, were they all just random stories? No, they weren't. They were all work-related stories. They were all themed on the same subject, that's work. So he sort of collected, the speaker, Tiger, in this case, collected, very thoughtfully crafted the stories from work. One theme, he put center in one theme, that's work. And that's the most challenging area. Have you ever thought that you can derive humor from work? Thinking of like work and humor? And a great example of how we can actually derive humor from our everyday experience, from what we live every day, and from very simple and so-called boring things, that's work. What sought our attention to Tiger's speech? His smile, his nice gesture, his cheerfulness, his positive energy, his trick to play with us, his voice modulations, and a couple of lot of things. Well, I'm talking to you as well as your ear, Tiger. See, that is it. So we all remember and we could all laugh together. That was the beauty of his speech. And I really want to congratulate you, Tiger, because you lived the project very well, which was about collecting stories, collection of short humorous stories with messages. You have had messages which were very well summarized towards the end. And to seek the attention, he brought up 2 points, work and first love, and he then merged it together. What is it that Tiger has to improve? Well, Tiger used lots of props, visuals. He had cap on his head which fell when he was looking. He used cams, etc. But at times your gestures were very fast, Tiger. At times they were perfect. When you had, for example, when you were climbing, then your hand gestures like I'm climbing was perfect. But other times I found them moving faster. They were a bit fast for the screen. I am not sure it is just me or it is that others have also noticed. I found you blur at times. Your background and your face was blurred. So I could not get the visual clarity. So in that case, my advice would be to go for a plain background, just because I know you love nature. I know you had put a very nice, beautiful picture at your back, but just try it with a plain background so that the visuals don't fail you. And I have to say that why was I not fascinated with the title? Because the speech was so wonderful, but when I looked at the title, I was like, three loosely hanging words: work, learn, laugh. I know they have some reason and meaning, but if you could have pulled it better and made it little more creative to see the interest at the title itself. With this, I really want to congratulate you, Tiger, for taking it to the next level, not only for the club, but to the area of humorous speech. Thank you, and I give it back to the general evaluator.
Thanks, Yasmin, for giving evaluation. In addition, we are going to listen the report of our role takers, and I would like to invite our grammarian, Amy. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Nava. We had a very theatrical experience today. I really enjoyed it. I have to give a big kudos to Federico for having puppets as well, really getting involved, and Tiger doing some role play during his speech. So that was just some added theater that I wanted to commend. We had the word of the day used a good few times. Mary, you used it. I have twice. Mary used it a good few times. Yeah, Mary, Tiger, Michelle, Christina, and Verata. I have you all noted for using the word of the day. And then some things to watch out for would be where we add in plurals when they're not needed. So anyone just be a little wary when you're using singular tense or you're doing a plural. You know, I think I had somewhere where it was humorous and we only needed the word humor. Another thing to watch out for is past tense and present tense, when sometimes we were using past tense when we should have been using present tense. And I think the example of introducing when it was introduced. These are only little small things that, and I'm keeping it very vague as well. So they're just little things. Overall, we had fantastic, we had some great sentences. I want to say a couple here. So I have an amazingly radiant smile. I have non-judgment is the best key for being confident in ourselves. Then my don't give up on life. Sometimes it can be difficult, but keep going on. And what to know about.
Okay, I think Amy got frozen. Okay, let's move on. I would like to invite our counter. Miss Ayu, the screen is
Hello.
yours.
Thank you, Melva. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. My note today is just not so many, but I note something like Amy was really famous with and so, and today. I am in the introduction and so in the grammarian report. Ruku was so creative with try to change the word between so, therefore, and a little of in the introduction, timer introduction. The thing was when she tried to answer topic, it seems like you were a bit tense. So you use a little bit, like a lot of and the. For our general evaluator, the introduction, you start with okay. How about I challenge you to not start the word, the sentence or the role with okay. I challenge you. Kunang, a little bit of yes, yes, yes. How about eliminate that a little bit? Gabby and Excel also have some and but for you two, I still thinking that okay, they were like 3 to 3 months Toastmaster. So go, try again. Eliminate the filler word. Thank you. That's my report. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator Melba.
Thanks, Miss Ayu, for giving the report. And the last, our timer. Ruku, the screen is yours.
Hello, everyone. So today, everybody was in time. For speakers, Samantha was 4 minutes and 24 seconds. Kunal was 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Tiger was 8 minutes and 54 seconds. And for table topics, Pedrico was 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Varatha was 1 minute and 52 seconds. I was 1 minute and 16 seconds. And Gabby was 1 minute and 54 seconds. And for the evaluation part, Michelle was 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Excel was 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Yasmin was 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Amy was 2 minutes and 44 seconds. And Ayu was 1 minute and 53 seconds. That's all for today's report. And I'll put the timings in the chat also. Thank you. Back to you.
My pleasure, Ruku, and that's my turn to give evaluation about this meeting. I start to begin with Toastmaster of the day, that is Mary. I love you give response after the speech. And I saw you make smiling when Kunang speaking. It's like you gave the response for her speech. And I saw also you make a lot of nod of your head. That's nice. I love your respect. In addition, our table topic master, that is Christina, I love your question. You make it more simple and you totally know our background and trying to engage our participant for making simple question. That's great. And for evaluator, I just noticed Miss Excel. Excel, is it your first time to be evaluator or not? Yes. If it's your first evaluator, that's great. I think like you have many progress. And as I know, you are a new member, right? And that's great. Oh my God, I got surprised you have many progress so fast. And for role takers, thanks to be cooperative, you nail it, and that's great. And one thing that I disagree about this meeting, that is when someone points someone to answer the question, I just like, oh my God, it's like something that uncomfortable for me, because I know probably some people are not ready for answering the question or something that. And Christina, that's great, you asking, are you ready or not? Yeah, that's it. That's good. And I think that's enough. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Excellent job, General Evaluator, of leading your evaluation team. Excellent evaluation. And Michelle, I'm going to keep working on your name, but well done for giving your first evaluation. You did a great job. All around, just a wonderful meeting. I'm honored to be in this club. Just the diversity. I talk about you all the time, how much I enjoy coming to our meetings. So thank you for allowing me to be the Toastmaster today. And you really did weave that theater theme throughout the meeting. So I thank you for that. Amy, I know you cut off a little bit short. Was there anything you needed to add to your grammarian report at the end, or we just let it go at that?
Yeah, my internet keeps cutting in and out. Sorry, but I had loads of really lovely quotes from everyone.
If you want to finish up, we can do that. We still have a minute.
Okay, well, I had off the cuff speaking. Pose, pause, pounce. Let me see, my masterful storyteller, nuggets of wisdom, knowledge, kindness, respect, and hardworking. Don't give up on life. Sometimes it's difficult, but we keep going. Non-judgment, best key in being confident in ourselves. And I've got loads, but amazingly radiant smile, thoughtfully crafted. I'll leave it with that before I disappear, cut out again. So beautiful, beautiful sentences today. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and thank you for that thorough grammarian report. We are right on time. Again, I thank all the participants for staying to the schedule. Perfectly done. We followed the agenda's times. I actually was looking at it as we were going through, and we really did stay on course. So thank you. That's an important facet of running a meeting, is that we keep to our times. So I'd like to now turn our meeting over to our president for any closing remarks. Thank you. It was a wonderful meeting. So glad you came. Particularly thank you to our guests. I hope you come back. Amelia said she had the time wrong. So come next Monday, just an hour earlier than you tuned in today. We'd love to have you. Have a wonderful day. Back to our president, IU. It's over to you.
Thank you, Mary. Such a lovely meeting. I have one question for all of us. If anyone know what are the 4 Toastmaster core values? Mary?
Respect, integrity, service, and the E. Oh, E.
Excellence.
Excellence. Thank you.
Yay! So, fellow Toastmaster, esteemed member of RSS, thank you so much to always show up in the meeting, because that is actually one of the Toastmaster promise. And then we are going to go to our club business, and club business is actually the thing that I want to say is I see that how we are all respecting each other, and club business is a part of our journey being a Toastmaster. It is the respect side, because when we try to make the role and the speeches like way in front the team and everything. It's respecting everybody time. Okay, so don't go anywhere. I'm going to adjourn the meeting just in a second. We will give Yasmin another 5 minutes to do the club business. By this, I will say meeting adjourned.